much.
Most of you are not aware that Jim is the chairman of the Friends of John Ostenburg Campaign Committee, and that's why he does the introduction. Doug is the treasurer and writes all the checks. So, we put his name on everything because obviously he has to write the checks, but Jim is the chairman of the committee, so if anything goes wrong at the state level, those two guys are responsible. So, I never touch any money, I don't file any reports, they are the culprits if anything goes wrong. Every one of you who are in this room were great in contributing to the success of this election. Absolutely great. Glenna has done a superb job of keeping everything coordinated. Rich has helped in that process. Kevin has been here all the time. Doug has been making phone calls advising everybody and telling us how many times we have to touch the voter. And the difference between a soft touch, a hard touch, and a half a touch, and 3/4 of a touch. But obviously they must have touched enough. We all feel a little touched.
We're all touched.
But today especially, I want to say, there were a group of people in here that really worked exceptionally hard. Mike Jordan, who just doesn't know how not to work on election day. Starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, he goes out tagging cars, tagging homes, doing everything.
5 minutes to 7.
All the way up to 5 minutes to 7. Jim was with him, and Mike is pushing him at 5 minutes to 7, saying there may be one more vote before the polls close. All of the folks, Gary Duncan went out with me this morning to put signs at the polling places, and Roy was out looking over the shoulder of some of the precincts to make sure that there weren't any shenanigans that caused us problems. And the folks at all the co-ops, Area E and Area B, and just everybody working so hard today. And if I neglected anybody, I apologize for that. But it was just such a team effort. So that's just so crucial and important. And Jackie cooking all the food today. Melanie bringing us lunch from the deli, all those great deli. Remember Bergstein's New York Deli?
I want to try that place.
It's a great place. And the Bergstein name comes from her grandmother's side of the family, right? And I had some up and down moments today that Jackie certainly experienced, as I would go home and be down and then up and then down. And the thing is that after 12 years, you recognize that not everybody's going to be happy. I mean, there's just no way that you're going to have everybody be happy. But there's so many things in this village that we have work to do that really, the sad thing about elections, and I understand this, and I've been guilty of it myself when I was a challenger, you're always guilty of it. You always point to the things that are going wrong, because that's the way you win the public support. But the problem is, out there in the public, they hear the things that supposedly are going wrong, and everybody begins to think, boy, this place is really bad because of all that. And believe me, it ain't. Park Forest, compared to the other suburbs in our region, we really are doing things very well. And it's not because of me. It's the board working collaboratively. It's the fact that we have an excellent professional staff. And do we need to open our staff up and to add new faces and make sure it's more balanced? Yes, absolutely. That's our goal. But people need to also recognize that we're working on that goal. I mean, you can't wholesale fire good people. You don't want to fire them. You want to keep them around until it's time for them to go. But what we have to make sure is, when someone decides to go, the replacement has to reflect the population of our community. That's a commitment that I made years ago, and I've been criticized for bragging about it, but it's not bragging, it's the fact that people have to recognize and know that, because that's the way we all work to achieve that common goal. And we're going to continue to do that over the next 12 years. We have to broaden our commissions, we have to make sure that... My face would also drop. But those are all things that we need to do. But let me tell you, the reporter asked me tonight, just a few minutes ago when I talked to him, what are the first things you're going to do? First thing I'm going to do is call Congressman Jackson tomorrow morning, and I'm going to thank him for his robocalls, but I'm going to tell him we're going to build this damn airport. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. We've got to do it, because that's the economic engine that's going to drive our communities, so that we don't have all of the problems. We do create jobs. We do have a stronger tax base. Without that economic engine, we're going to continue to struggle. So we need to make a commitment to doing that. We're going to call Richard Dent and say, okay, what can we do to help you make sure that you bring your research development facility to Park Forest? The due diligence is being done now. What do we have to do to make sure that comes to fruition? And it can come to fruition. I'm going to call the other mayors that have been working with me on the idea of a vocational educational program that is focused on light development, like the Austin Polytech model that some of us have had the opportunity to see firsthand. It can happen in the south suburbs, and that means that our kids will be better trained, so that this whole new wave of of industry, that people are prepared to be line workers, to be managers, to be entrepreneurs, to be creative, to own their own businesses. That's the wave of the future, and we can do it in our community. And we're going to be a totally green community. We're going to do that. We have made so much progress up to this time, and we can carry it out. So over the course of the next 4 You got to realize at the end of 4 years, I'll be 70 years old. So I've got to live through those 4 years. But I think we will have a lot on our plate that we'll be very, very proud of. And I have to say, nobody could work with a better board than I do. The 6 trustees are absolutely outstanding people who work diligently. They study the issues, and they're committed to a program of making our community excellent. And we have the best staff that you could have. So thank you all very much. There's one more precinct to go, and the percentage is at 67, right?
We increased to 67%.
So 1459 to 708. That's a little bit better than 2-1. So enjoy.